Tonight, This Is Your Life takes to the skies to bring you the story of a daredevil whose skill and bravery is famed worldwide. But that's enough about me. Let's talk about the man in question. One of his favorite stunts is to fly at 400 miles an hour, 100 feet above the ground, upside down. Something I'd rather not think about. Earlier this year, our man was buzzing Sydney Opera House, half a world away from his hometown of Scunthorpe, which happens to be below me right now. Down there is a steel plant where he worked for a while before leaving home to pursue his boyhood dream of becoming a pilot. He's realized that dream and more. Today, he's the leader of the world-famous RAF aerobatics team, the Red Arrows. Right now, he's leading them back to base at RAF Cranwell in Lincolnshire to mark the end of a record-breaking year. I'm heading there myself, and I hope to be there before them. These fellas don't mess around. If I've timed this properly, they'll be here any second now. Well, a day of surprises this has been, I must say. You've noticed your crew got here ahead of you. They're backing me up so that I can say, leader of the Red Arrows. Today's the order of the Red Book because Squadron Leader John Rands, this is your life. Don't mind if I take over this briefing, do you?
It's all yours.
Thank you. Well, our thanks to your team for cooperating in tonight's low-level swoop after what has been the busiest year in the history of the Red Arrows, a unit of the RAF's Central Flying School here at Cranwell. Your world tour just ended saw each pilot fly 72,000 miles. That's nearly 3 times around the globe. At speeds of up to 450 miles an hour, you and your team's wingtips are sometimes just 8 feet apart. For your team's brave and skillful displays have won you international acclaim around the globe, to the pride and delight of your wife Karen and your children. We saw them just now. Stacey, aged 9, and the twins, 7-year-old Marcus and Trey.
John, being the wife of the Red Arrow's leader presumably means you can't ask him if he's had a good day at the office.
No, obviously we know he's pretty busy at work. It makes for a pretty hectic life at home too. But obviously we're incredibly proud of what he's done, what he's achieved.
Well, Stacey, you'll be 10 in January, I think. And as far as I know, there are no girl pilots yet in the Red Arrows. Would you fancy that job?
No, but I would like to ride horses at Olympia.
Horses at Olympia? Far more dangerous, I think. Now, John, on the way here, I flew over Scunthorpe, which is also the hometown of someone who worked briefly in the steelworks and whose talent also took him around the world. A former British and US champion and Ryder Cup captain. Tonight he's in Palm Beach in Florida, Tony Jacklin.
Hi, John. We've got quite a bit in common, you know, you and I. Being brought up and educated in Scunthorpe. Your dad was at the steelworks for many years, as was mine, and I think you had a short stint there, as I did. I remember fondly the Red Arrows coming to the Ryder Cup in 1989 and doing that marvellous flyover. And if you remember, we retained the trophy that year, so you did your bit there. It's a special night for you tonight, and enjoy it. And I know, like me, wherever you are, you'll always remember your beginnings in sunny Scunny.
Thank you, Tony Jacklin. Well, I now have clearance to say, John Edward Rands, this is your life. You were born in Scunthorpe Maternity Home on November the 23rd, 1959. Here you are at your christening. Your father had just finished 7 years as a mechanic in the Fleet Air Arm and went on to a job in the local steelworks. Today, he still lives in Scunthorpe and still loves aeroplanes. Flying tonight in a cluster over the rooftops of Scunthorpe, these Red Arrows fly by day and by night. They are, in fact, a custom-built weather vane he made in your honour, and now adorn the garage of your parents' home.
Hello, John. As you know, your mum and I are very proud of our special weather vane here at home. I made it when you became leader of the Red Arrows. When you visit us, I know you're slightly embarrassed by it, but it is much admired by friends and relatives, and is a hot local talking point, just like you are.
And when your brother Andrew became an airline pilot, your dad welded a jumbo jet on just for good measure. A lovely evening, John. Cheers.
And now they can say it to you in person. Your parents, Molly and Doug Rands, and with them your brother Andrew and sister Gillian. Abroad again now as we cross the Atlantic and touch down in Fort Lauderdale at the hospital where she works as a nurse, your sister Deborah.
Hi John, it's great to be able to talk to you on this special occasion. All my friends and colleagues here are very impressed when I tell them what my big brother does. And although I don't say it very often, I'm also very proud of you. I remember when we were younger, Andy and I were always fighting, and you were the one who used to sort us out. You were always very calm and patient. I've just started a new nursing job, making it difficult for me to be there with you tonight. But I send my love. I hope you're going to forgive us all for springing this surprise on you, and I hope to see you soon. But bye for now.
She said it wouldn't be an easy mission for her to be here, but not impossible. A quick shift of the night duty rosters and the family is complete. From Florida, your sister Deborah. Now, when you were a toddler, your father didn't read you bedtime stories about Rupert Bear. He flicked through his photo album of aircraft pictures. You were hooked. Years later, you take to the skies in supersonic Lightning jets. But here you are, age 2, at home in Ashby, Lincolnshire, in a Lightning test run on the back patio. What kind of speeds does she reach?
Ooh, 1 to 2 miles an hour, I'd say maximum. Where did you get all these from?
We have a loving family, of course. At the age of 5, you go to Bottisford Infant School, where you develop an early interest in sport. In the summer of 1970, when you're 10, your father takes you to the Normanby Park Steelworks Gala. It was a day that changed your life. Streaking across the sky above the Trent Valley comes a sight you will never forget. It's a display by the Red Arrows. Well, also with you on that day was your younger brother, who followed you into the RAF and is now a commercial airline pilot. Now, Andrew, you and John shared an early love of the outdoor life, but aeroplanes were an indoor pursuit at first.
That's right, John. Do you remember we had model aeroplanes suspended from the bedroom ceiling, and one day you decided we'd reenact the Battle of Britain using the toy gun and the plastic bullets, and the enemy were seen off, and you were awarded the VC by a grateful nation.
First of various prizes. Back at school, you practice more shooting skills on the soccer pitch and prove your leadership potential early on as you captain your school team. You compete in Scunthorpe's junior league in a highly successful team called Westcliff United. One vital cup game ends in a penalty shootout.
I saved the penalty and you stole the glory.
That was more than 20 years ago. Hopefully you'll recognise him in long trousers. Westcliff United's goalkeeper, Stuart Doyle. What happened, Stuart?
Well, as goalkeeper of the team, I saved a crucial penalty, and of course, John come on as the team's ace left winger and scored the winning goal, and of course it was a really great day. In them days, it was all in awe of, you know, the World Cup hero like Sir Alf Ramsey, and we had a team coach called Albert Allison, who Cheeky John nicknamed Sir Alb.
Well, I know he was proud of that name because he's turned out for you tonight. So Alb himself, Albert Allison. By 13, football is taking second place to your all-absorbing passion kindled by those pictures of aeroplanes in your dad's photo album, and you devote every minute of your spare time to learning to fly. Your mentor at that time takes you under his wing again tonight. We have some memories from former chief gliding instructor Eddie Neal.
Hi, John. I bet this brings back lots of happy memories for you. It reminds me of the fun that we shared together when I first taught you aerobatics in a glider just like this.
Round like a circle in a spiral, like a wheel within a wheel, never ending or beginning on a never spinning wheel, like a snowball down a mountain or a carnival balloon, like a carousel that's turning, running rings around the moon, like a clock whose hands are sweeping past the minutes of its face, and the world is like an apple whirling silently in space, like the circles that you find in the windmills of your mind.
There's nothing quite like it, is there, John? You were a good student, but I remember some of your teachers have been less pleased with you, because after gliding all weekend, the only time you could finish your homework was on a Monday morning before class at 5 a.m. Have a great night. Over and out, squadron leader, sir.
Windmills of your mind.
Well, that was a different kind of flying altogether. He was an important man in your life.
Yeah, he's very good. He used to give me a lift, and basically he's one of these guys who used to look after all the guys from the gliding school. So yeah, spent a lot of time flying. I learnt a lot. I'm very thankful to Eddie.
Well, what goes up must come down, especially if it doesn't have a motor. He's also made it from Scunthorpe to Cranwell. Eddie Neal.